Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Shining Light Podcast and Part 3 of the Goshen School Board 2022 election story. If you tuned into Part 2, you know that the 2022 Goshen School Board election was far from ordinary, but it had its roots in the clash of liberal agendas and concerned citizens. Tonight, we pick up where we left off, the introduction of a mailer that derailed plans for a hit piece in the news against candidates Rob Rader, Linda Hartman, and Ryan Glick. Let's jump straight into the meat here. What was this oh-so-important mailer? Well, it all started on October 18th with a note from that retired English teacher from the book review committee, Sue Neeb. Neeb sent Kaufman an email suggesting a way for the liberal candidates to get their name out, pointing to a post on Nextdoor by candidate Hartman. Kaufman in turn forwarded it to the 3 board members running for re-election and proposed doing a mailer. Now, this race for the school board, as mentioned in Part 1, included 9 total candidates, including board member Jose Elizalde, whom we have already mentioned. Other sitting board members also running for re-election were Roger Nafziger and Mario Garber, who were being challenged for their at-large seats by Linda Hartman, Brian Kreider, and Keith Goodman. Board member Amanda Qualls was not running again as she was seeking state office. Her mother, Andrea Johnson, was running to take her seat for District 1, contested by Angie McKee and Ryan Glick. Returning to Kaufman's email to the other board members, he stated, "Linda is working hard, turning over all the rocks. In addition to this, Keith Goodman and Terry McCrindle both told me a volunteer working for Linda knocked on their door. Both live on a county road. Keith told me at Kiwanis that no candidate ever comes there. If you don't have time to knock doors or have volunteers doing it or making phone calls, I hope you plan on a significant mailing. You can get a mail merge list from the county. Perhaps the 3 incumbents could go together on a mailing, include an insert with photo and what position you're running for. Maple Leaf Printing does mailings. I will check with Terry to see what he charges." Nafziger liked the idea, replying, "Thanks, Alan. I'm very interested in doing a mailer together, but I'm out of town until the weekend. Mario, let's get together this weekend or on Monday if you're interested in talking about a mailer." The plan moved quickly, with communications outside of the group emails with Neeb. By late evening on the 18th, Kaufman wrote, "Here's what I'm thinking. 2 versions of a letter, one for District 3 and one for District 1. A card insert with photos of our 2 at-large candidates and the district candidate. We did this in a couple of city elections. They were effective. The letter would describe the danger of electing the wrong candidates. It probably should name the 3 candidates. I'm checking with Maple Leaf Printing on the cost of a corporation-wide mailing. To be fair, the 2 at-large candidates' share of the cost should be more than the district candidates. Tell me what you think. You shouldn't delay. People are already voting. You will probably have to shake some trees to come up with funds for this. I'm helping, but can't do it all." And that is where things went south. Kaufman says he was helping raise funds. As would come out later in election board hearings, he was conversing with Neeb over both the mailer and funding. Neeb wanted to get information out and liked the mailer idea also. Kaufman informed her that it would cost a significant amount of money, which the candidates didn't have. He said he would find out the cost if Neeb would help raise the funds. Neeb agreed, but was concerned about the possible backlash against her husband's business, Miller Poultry, if her involvement became public and therefore wanted anonymity and to not be recorded as the donor. Kaufman assured her that her name would remain hidden, and they moved forward with the plan. After the candidates agreed to the mailer, Neeb conducted a fundraiser, collecting nearly $12,000 in direct-to-herself donations from 33 people, including herself. She deposited the funds into 2 personal bank accounts and then delivered them to Kaufman, who placed the money in his personal bank account. Kaufman later wrote checks to each candidate in his own name so they could pay their share of the mailing costs. Much more on that action later. In the meantime, Kaufman drafted the mailer and delivered it to the candidates to approve. He would later write about this on Facebook before the election. "I'm not afraid to admit, and not ashamed to say I wrote the original draft for the candidates to edit." The mailer itself arrived October 29th, just 10 days prior to the election. The mailer had the pictures of the 4 candidates running on the liberal side, Elizalde, Garber, Johnson, and Nafziger, as well as the school mascot on both the front and back. The text on the mailer read as follows: Goshen School Board Election, Tuesday, November 8th. Know the candidates. Jose Elizalde, District 3 incumbent; Mario Garber, at-large incumbent; Andrea Johnson, District 1; Roger Nafziger, at-large incumbent. We know the challenges facing all public schools, working hard to ensure that Goshen Community Schools will remain strong and viable for years to come. The mailer then asked, "Purple for Parents, what's that?" and instructed recipients to flip to the reverse side for more information. On the back, the mailer read, "Dear Goshen School Board voters, this year's school board election may be the most consequential ever for Goshen. Vibrant cities require strong schools. Strong schools require vibrant cities. It's an age-old truth. Goshen is fortunate to have both, but this election may damage that relationship. The Indiana chapter of Purple for Parents has endorsed 3 candidates in this school board election: Linda Hartman, at-large, her son-in-law Ryan Glick, District 1, and Rob Rader, District 3. Be knowledgeable about these candidates' agendas. Most voters have never heard of Purple for Parents. It's a national organization with the goal of replacing school board members with people pushing a radically different agenda to public education. It includes banning books, controlling what and how teachers can teach, and opposing teachers and administrations providing students with social and emotional support. They don't value diversity, equity, and inclusion for all students. You can Google Purple for Parents. Scroll past where they self-identify as a noble organization dedicated to quality public education. There, you will find their true agenda. We, on the other hand, are committed to ensuring that all our students, regardless of birthplace, gender, ability, or ethnicity, feel welcome, safe, valued, and supported. Our goal is for all students to graduate well-equipped for further education or workplace careers. If you choose to vote for us, thank you for your support. The mailer created such difficulty for the Goshen News because of its sensational and glaring inaccuracies, not the least of which was in the supposed relationship between Hartman and Glick, 2 candidates who had never met prior to the school board campaign. While the mailer claimed he was her son-in-law, Glick's in-laws are Ethiopian and lived in Ethiopia at the time. Additionally, the sensational claims about not valuing diversity and not supporting all students were also fabricated, as was evidenced in Glick's own family, which includes members from 5 different countries and 3 continents. However, that wasn't where the real story was. Glick realized that the fabrications could help him actually turn the tables and use the mailer to prove the liberals were untrustworthy. He used it as a springboard to go on the offensive, something that we will see caused Kaufman to start talking about the real issue: the fundraiser to pay for the mailing and the misuse of public resources. While this is the end of Part 3, it is just the beginning of the legal troubles affecting the liberal candidates and their underhanded race. Be sure to tune in next time to see what happens when candidates decide to deceive the public. You won't want to miss Part 4 on the Shining Light podcast. Until next time, have a great night.